every single time you level up, there's going to be doubt.
خلاص focused, no distractions, no noise.
I want that pressure. And if I don't have that pressure, I'm not going to perform the way I want to perform.
لما جسمك يدخل survival mode كيف ترجع لنفسك؟
Your own road, your own timing. Do not compare it to anybody else.
دائما بنشوف الرجال إنه لازم ما يكون عنده emotion. He has to be strong. لازم يكون ثابت. فأنت عليك حمل أكبر.
I expect the nerves, the butterflies, the excitement, the worry, the doubt. Notice I didn't say fear because I think fear is chosen.
People see fighters as strong, and I feel like it's always in the mind. It starts here. So what energy are you walking in with today?
Calmness.
Calmness?
Yeah, that's how you always have to be, especially as a fighter. If you're not calm, if you're not composed, under pressure, under expectations, under under the expectations of yourself and the expectations of others for you, if you're not calm through that whole storm, you won't make it out. So calmness is number one.
Well, I'm happy you made it قبل ما تروح المطار and before getting into fight mode, and appreciate your presence صراحة. So the pride of the Arab world, هذا بتحس بحط عليك pressure زيادة أو is it قوة? Which one?
It's chosen pressure.
Chosen.
Yeah, I keep I put that out there. I put the pride of the Arab world out there. I realized from the beginning of my career that I want that pressure. And if I don't have that pressure, I'm not going to perform the way I want to perform. I'm not going to go to the levels that I need to go, but more importantly, that others need me to go. Not want me to go. Others need me to go to a specific level, to a specific stage, to perform a specific way, so then they can do it after me bigger and better and just in a more powerful way, where then I could be the one that knocked down and kicked down that door, and then they walk in a lot easier. So I feel like the pride of the Arab world is so much more than just in the ring. It's also outside of the ring, how I carry myself as a person, how I carry myself not just in the ring but outside of the ring, and in the way I treat people, in the way I talk to them, in the way I see other people, and in the way I make other people see me.
Because you always see, or we perceive men as strong, especially you as a boxer. دايما بنشوف الرجال إنه لازم ما يكون عنده emotion. He has to be strong. لازم يكون ثابت. فأنت عليك حمل أكبر. Because you have to put a mask on in the ring حتى لو أنت emotionally unstable that day. فكيف بتهيئ نفسك mentally قبل any fight?
You know, the thing is with emotions, we often think that the best way to control emotions is to suppress them. The best way to control them is to keep them in, when more often than not, and almost always, the best way to control your emotions is to let them out. And the best way to control your emotions is to just feel your emotions and actually know what emotion you're going through. And even if you don't know the emotion you're going through, just feel it and go through it. And that to me is the best way to control your emotions. So fight day especially, or if it's the week leading up to the fight, or if it's the months leading up to the fight, every single time I'm preparing for a fight, at each different time, there's a different emotion. And I just go through it. If it's the worry, if it's the doubt, if it's the nerves, if it's the butterflies, I feel it. And I go through it. And I expect them. I expect them because how can you get to that stage of a specific, how can you get to the level of a specific stage and not expect these emotions to come with it? So I expect the nerves, the butterflies, the excitement, the worry, the doubt. But notice I didn't say fear.
Yeah.
Because I think fear is chosen. So fear and excitement go hand in hand. They're the same emotion. It's just you get to choose which one you're going to label it with. but the emotion itself is the same. When you're very excited for something, you're very eager for it to happen. You're not gonna sleep at night. You're gonna keep thinking about it. You're gonna overthink the result.
It's the same.
It's the exact
Just different
same,
outcome
but it's just a different label.
or
It's just a
perspective.
it's just a different perspective that you put on it.
طب
Yeah,
mental rehearsal يعني بتعيش السيناريو في مخك قبل ما تروح الماتش.
it's all I'm about. It's all I'm about.
طب what about the doubts؟ ما في any bit of doubt usually في السيناريو؟
لا أكيد في. دائما في doubts. There are always doubts. You need to expect the doubts. You need to expect the doubts when you get to a specific stage, and even if you're not at that stage, every single time you level up, there's going to be doubt. Every single time you even aim or even just think about leveling up, before you even actually level up, you're gonna always doubt. But you need to expect that. And the way I always think about it is, if you're a guest, if you're sitting at your own home, and all of a sudden someone is knocking at the door, and you open the door and you find 2-3 guests, and the home isn't ready. You have no tea, no coffee, no desserts, no food, and they just walk in and they sit down. You're gonna be chaotic. You're gonna feel surprised, and you're not gonna be able to manage, and you're not gonna know what to give them or what to present them with, because you have nothing prepared. But if you're sitting at your home and you know that there are a few guests coming today, and you have everything prepared from the beginning of the day. Hey, you have everything prepared. You have the coffee, you have the tea, you have the dessert, you have the food. Whatever they need, you have ready. So that's the same thing with emotions. With emotions and your mind is your home. And the emotions are the guests. Sometimes you need to expect the guests to walk in. And you need to expect the guests to come in at specific occasion. So if I'm sitting right now and I have a fight the next day, I'm expecting some guests. I'm expecting my fear. I'm expecting my worry. I'm expecting my doubt. I'm expecting my nerves. I'm also expecting my happiness, my excitement, and my courage. I'm expecting all of them. So when they come knocking on the door, I open the door and I have everything ready for them. Nerves, worry, I have exactly what you need so I can control you. Excitement, fear, I have exactly what you need so I can control you, and so on. So I always prepare all of that with what you were saying, the visualization, mental rehearsal, because that is what visualization is. Visualization is the art of mentally rehearsing something so vividly and so well, where your body starts to feel it's actually real, because the mind doesn't know the difference. So the more you visualize it and the more you go through it in your head, the more the body thinks and feels that you're actually going through it. So then when comes the time that you actually do go through it, it's second nature. You've been there. You've done that 100 times, 1,000 times. To everybody else, you're doing it for the first time. But to your mind that doesn't know the difference, it's just the 1,001 time you're gonna do it.
I like how you said إنه الخوف and excitement are two
نفس الشيء.
very similar.
أي.
بس كمان I believe الإيمان والخوف are two also similar. يعني they both require you to believe in something that you don't see. But at the same time, you get to choose which one you want to go for.
Exactly.
So which one usually wins with you?
الإيمان علاج الخوف. بالنسبة لي الإيمان علاج الخوف. Because both, like you said, both are unseen. And both are unknown. And you're going to have to take a leap into one or the other. And I say a leap because it's a risk. Feeling fear is a risk, because it might happen and it might not. And then feeling faith is a risk as well, because it might happen, it might not. But then there's one big thing that differentiates faith from fear, is that the result of fear you never trust, but the result of faith you always trust. The result of fear you don't know, you can't control, you don't believe there's a higher power that's controlling that fear. But then the result of faith, win, lose, draw, succeed, fail, you get the job, you don't, you get the relationship, you don't, you get married, you get engaged, it breaks off, you're almost going to sign this contract, the paper is taken right before the pen touches the paper. You have to always trust the fear and the faith, and you always do trust the faith eventually. It's so hard to trust the faith then and there. It's hard, but it comes with experience and practice. But not because I'm saying it comes with experience and practice, I mean that eventually you perfect it. You don't ever perfect it. It's just the window of not trusting the result and having faith in the result gets shorter with experience.
Yeah.
So when you don't have any experience and you fail, or you don't get the result you've wanted, or you don't get the job or the relationship you've been trying to get, whatever it is, in the beginning you don't trust it, then it takes months, maybe years, until you look back, which you always eventually do look back and you go like, I'm so glad that happened to me. With time and experience, it starts taking weeks. It starts taking days. But it's very important to know that, to me, it might take weeks and days. To you, it might take months. To someone else, it might take years. But the result is still the same. The result is still, we look back and we say we're so glad that happened. So no matter what time or how long it takes you, know that as long as you eventually get there, and as long as you eventually look back and say, I'm so glad that happened to me, then you are on the right road, your own timing. Do not compare it to anybody else. I go through it in months, weeks, sometimes years. Same with you, sometimes with someone else. Sometimes people don't go through it at all. They just trust it straight away. But we're all right. We're all right, because the way you live it with your own timeline, that's the most right way.
Exactly. We all have a different timeline.
Exactly.
As you said. طب إيش يصير جواك from the minute you get the first punch in the ring? What do you hear in your head? Is it your voice? Is it your coach's voice? How do you get back again? لأنه أحس إنه the minute you get a punch, it's like it hits your ego, it hits your soul. إنه everybody's watching.
That's the thing with boxing. Honestly, that's the thing with combat sports in general, but boxing especially in the kingdom, especially me being the first ever, and me fighting in front of the tens of thousands, if it's in Saudi Arabia or if it's globally representing Saudi Arabia. That's the thing with boxing, is that it takes your ego and it brings it right down where it's supposed to be. Because sometimes in training camp you train so hard, you feel so strong, you feel so fast, you feel so powerful. Then you go fight and you meet someone just as strong, just as powerful, just as fast. And it's a true 50-50 fight and matchup. And you need to put your ego aside if you're going to win that fight. And I feel like, and I believe like, this is both true in the fight and in life. If you are going to beat someone else at anything, it's the person who is going to put their ego aside first. The person who puts their ego aside first is going to be the person who is going to beat the other person or beat the competition around them at anything. Because the person who puts their ego aside learns more. The person who puts their ego aside is more accepting to experiences, failure, lessons. The person who puts their ego aside is more accepting to going to someone else who they accept and they acknowledge that they are above them, and they go and ask them for advice. What should I do? How can I get to where you're getting? How then can I get to even the level above where you are now? How can I do what you're doing? That takes pushing your ego aside. So in the fight, after taking that first punch, the minute that punch leaves my face, it leaves my mind. The minute I take the punch and his hands are back to his face and my face is gone from his punch, it's gone from my mind. Because it's a moment and it's past now. And I need to push my ego aside that I've just gotten punched in the face from someone just as strong as me, just as fast as me, just as powerful as me. But I'm still going to beat him, because I'm going to push my ego aside and I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be faster. I'm going to listen to my coaches. I'm going to listen to the crowd sometimes, especially in the kingdom. Sometimes the crowd gives me what I need exactly to win, but that needs pushing your ego aside. And then you get to beat any competition at anything, not just the fight.
So دائما بشوف في الأفلام I'm a big fan of Creed and Rocky. I love that movie. فدائما أشوف لما he gets knocked down, like خلاص you feel like he's done, and then the coach gets him back up. He does something mentally to bring him back alive again to the way he believes in himself. So you have a coach طبعا, Buddy McGirt.
Yeah.
What did he teach you about yourself that you didn't know?
بقول لك شيء. My second fight, it was in front of 25,000 people بالدرعية. It was a huge fight. Huge fight. And it was just my second fight. And I was 1-0, 1 win, 0 losses. And I was fighting someone from Colombia who was ranked number 3 in his weight class in his country, from Ecuador. And he was 3 wins, 0 losses. And it's just my second fight. And it felt like I'm fighting someone who is above me in the level and an international opponent, and he's ranked in his country, and I'm fighting him in front of 25,000 people in my own country. What if this happens? What if that happens?
So much pressure.
It's pressure, but that pressure is a privilege. So what Buddy taught me, Buddy was a fighter. My coach was a fighter himself. He's a Hall of Famer. He was a 2-time world champion himself in 2 different weight divisions. So at one weight division, he won the world championship. And then, he was like, okay, this is too good and too easy. So I'll go up to the weight above me and I'll fight guys who are bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me, and I'll still win the world championship and show them that I'm the best in that division too. And he did that. So Buddy gave me the fighter mentality. Buddy gave me the risk-taking mentality. If you are going to be a Saudi Arabian fighter representing not just the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but the whole Arab world, but also a very powerful place like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, all eyes on you, all eyes on the kingdom. Everything aligned with the kingdom is aligned with you. The more changes the kingdom are making, the more eyes on you. The more expectations that the kingdom is breaking and the more doubters that are turning into believers, the same is happening with you. So he's given me that risk-taking mentality that you need to take these risks and that you are ready for them. Even if you don't feel like you're ready for a risk, you still take the risk. Because if you wait to feel like you're ready before taking the risk, you will never take the risk. And then when you take the risk, when you feel like you're ready, it's not a risk, is it?
Because you expect it.
It's just an opportunity then. It's just an opportunity presented to you. But a risk is one you are never ready for. So that fight, I took that fight and it was under the lights and 25,000 people. And I was like, okay, what could happen in that fight that I need to be ready for? And I started mentally rehearsing everything in my whole training camp. I would sit down in my room, all lights are off. I'd go on YouTube, play sounds of a boxing crowd cheering, sounds of a boxing crowd booing, sounds of a boxing crowd excited, sounds of a boxing crowd scared, worried. I would play all of them and I would close my eyes and I would play every single, and I'm not joking, I would play every single scenario and situation that could happen, both positive and negative.
And you would feel both?
I would feel all the emotions. Just like you got goosebumps right now, I would be getting goosebumps sitting in that room because the mind doesn't know the difference. I would go through all the scenarios. I would go through all the positive scenarios and the negative scenarios, but I always had to mentally rehearse and visualize a positive outcome in both scenarios. So if I go through a negative scenario of me getting knocked down, for example, I always have to visualize me getting up and me fighting and winning the fight regardless of the knockdown. And then a positive outcome is I knock him down, but he gets up. I still have to visualize a positive outcome where I'm still calm, I'm still composed, my ego is not blown through the roof because I just knocked him down. He still got up. So nothing's changed. The fight is still alive. I still have to stay calm and win the fight. So then I visualize that too. And so what happened in my second fight in front of 25,000 people is I get knocked down in the first round. The first round. The way people were cheering for me before the fight started made that knockdown. It was, I have to get up before 10 seconds. So I got up at 8 seconds. Those 8 seconds felt like 8 hours. I felt every single emotion you could ever feel. Fear, doubt, bravery, courage, nerves, stress, anxiety. I felt every single emotion you could imagine.
The slow motion.
Everything. I went through scenarios in my head while I was knocked down. I was thinking what would happen to my career. I was thinking the people who are watching, who am I letting down? I was thinking about my family. I was thinking about all of it. But you know what the difference was? I felt these emotions 1,000 times because I've visualized them. I've mentally rehearsed them. So what is 1,001? So exactly the way I mentally rehearsed being knocked down, staying calm, staying composed, get my head back together. As long as I get back up, the fight is not over. And the 25,000 people got me up. After God, of course, but they got me up. The way, if you watch back the fight, you get goosebumps just hearing the claps in the crowd when I got up. I got up, I stayed calm, I stayed composed, and I almost knocked him down seconds after I got up, and then I won the fight. So that's what Buddy taught me. Buddy taught me that fighter mentality. Take the risks. Even if you're not ready, you take the risk first, then you figure out a way to be ready. You know, that's how you make it anywhere. That's how you make it to anything. That's how you achieve anything. You don't wait till you're ready. You take the risk, then you find out how you're going to be able to do it later. And if you do it, great. If you don't do it, then it's not your time, but you will do it again later.
It's like motivation. If you don't start, you're never going to be motivated.
Exactly.
So if you start, then you get motivated. You brought up your family. So I know you're 9, mashallah.
Hey.
So how do you show up? Do you show up as well as the fighter, the supporter, or do you let go more in your family? How does it go?
In my family, I feel like I'm the person that they could talk to about anything. If it's my sisters, especially, my sisters, me and my sisters have a great relationship. I feel like I'm the place where they go for advice, where they go to complain, where they go to share good news, to share the bad news, to seek any guidance, or to just feel like they could be themselves. I feel like I have that connection with my sisters. And then my brothers are the people that I have that connection with. My sisters have that connection with me, but then I do that same thing with my brothers, because everything they've gotten to, I want to get to. Everything they've achieved, either
They're
just
older.
either just as their character, or in their work, in their life, in their relationships, in their jobs. I want to get to that. So they are the people I go to for advice and for guidance, and they are the people I open up to. But what I love about my siblings is that we're all friends. We're all friends before we are siblings. You know,
That's the most important.
Exactly. We go on the trips together, and it feels like it's a school trip. You know, whereas there are the good times, the bad times, the fights, the fun, the laughter, the jokes, but even the bullying is there too. But that's how I am with my family. I just like to be the person who gives off the calm energy, even if sometimes they share news that is very worrying and very stressful. But if I'm calm, they're calm, and that's what I like to do.
Okay, I think we've gone too deep. So let's do some fill in the blanks. Say a sentence and you just, whatever comes on your mind. The hardest opponent is?
Myself.
Wow. Being vulnerable as a man feels like?
Masculinity.
I love
Feels
that.
like masculinity.
A fighter loses himself when?
His ego gets involved.
We said that. Fear taught me?
Courage. Fear taught me courage.
طيب, do you feel like moving to the States at 19 made you feel like you had to grow up too fast?
I had to grow up too fast way before moving to the States. Getting in that ring alone, having to depend fully on yourself, just even the business of it, but having to fight someone else alone, preparing for it alone. It's an individual sport. You're alone.
When did you realize, no, okay, I'm a fighter. I'm going for this?
I realized I'm a boxer when I moved to the States, I would say. I realized I'm a fighter when I started boxing.
Okay.
So that's the difference. I realized I'm a very skilled fighter. I'm a very skilled boxer. I'm a very talented boxer. I'm strong, I'm fast, all of this at 19 when I moved to the States, when I started testing myself and learning from others who are better than me, pushing my ego aside, ask them for advice, even if they're younger than me, but they were more skilled and at a higher level. That's when I realized I'm a very skilled and good boxer. But I realized I was a fighter long before that, because I held on to a dream that had zero evidence that it would come true. I held on to the dream of me becoming Saudi Arabia's first ever professional boxer, representing on the global stage, fighting in front of tens of thousands of people, one day 100,000 maybe, inshallah. But I held on to that dream with zero evidence, zero equipment, zero gyms, zero evidence from the past that it could come true. I couldn't look up to another Saudi boxer. I couldn't look up to another Arab boxer, because all the Arabs lived abroad, were born abroad, were raised abroad in front of the equipment, all of that stuff. So in terms of Arabs and Saudis at the time where I was trying to box, there was nobody. So then I had to fight my way through that. And then I became a boxer.
لما جسمك يدخل survival mode after the fight, you know, you're beat up, you're tired, you're exhausted, كيف ترجع لنفسك؟
I go through all the emotions.
You sit with them.
I go through all the emotions. In psychology, there's a term we call, and in mental performance as well, there's a term we call emotional parking. And what emotional parking is sometimes you go through specific emotions at a specific occasion, but there isn't really time to go through those emotions because you need to go through the occasion. You need to focus on the occasion. You need to achieve something. You need to do something. You need to focus on something. And emotions are going to come with it. And you're going to have to expect them, but you're also going to have to know that it's not really the time for those emotions right now, because they will get in the way of what you're focused on, and they will get in the way of what you need to do. So then that's where emotional parking comes in. Emotional parking is when you get the emotions, the expected or unexpected emotions during a huge occasion, which you have to expect, you park these emotions.
And you'll save them for later?
Save them for later, but you're not dismissing them. You accept them. You know they're there. You know you're worried. You know you're nervous. You know you're excited. Yeah, you know you're excited. You know you're brave. You know, whatever it is, you park them, put them on a side, because good emotions or bad emotions can sometimes get in the way of you achieving what you need to achieve. So because good emotions come with ego and bad emotions come with fear. So you park these emotions, and parking is only short term. I will deal with you, but in the near future. And when I say near future, I mean an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, no more than that. So in a fight, that's what you need to do. And that's what I have to do. That's what works for me. Well, sometimes other people can go through it differently. If it works for you, that's what works for you. And never compare it to anybody else. But that's what works for me. So after the fight, that's where I go through all the emotions. So many fights, after I win, I sometimes go back into the locker room and I break down. Just because of the
الحمل, التعب, the things you've been through.
It's just months of it.
Yeah.
Because so many people don't know, but before every fight, we train for 3 months to prepare for 45 minutes.
Like now, you're traveling to prepare for the fight for July.
I'm fighting in 3 months. I travel now. So people don't know that, but it's so many months of training twice and 3 times a day, sleepless nights because of the pressure, because of the good pressure though. I'm never worried. I'm never scared. I'm never like doubtful I will achieve something. It's just the worry that I need to achieve it. It's the doubt of I need to achieve this by then because so many people are depending on me. So it's all of that, and then you carry all of that with you to the fight, and then you carry the emotions of the fight, the punches, the doubts that creep in mid-fight.
The physical pain.
Everything. The physical pain you don't really feel.
How you are numb يعني طول الوقت?
Because of the adrenaline, yeah. The
aftermath.
After you feel everything. Oh, the week after is horrible. But that's all you carry with you, but it's not the time to feel them. not just yet.
So emotional parking.
So I park the emotions, and then after that I go back to the locker room. Sometimes after my best wins, I've gone through my worst, emotional breakdowns after in the locker room. But I feel like that's the best way to go through it. I enjoy that. I enjoy every part of it. I enjoy the part where I feel like I am myself after the fight.
It's like the mask falls off.
The mask falls off, but to be honest, I never wear a mask.
لا قصدي
You know?
you can't, like, you have to wear a mask.
You're
not gonna get emotional in the
I
crowd.
would say it's that cape
Yeah.
falls off. I just love the feeling of being myself. And if I feel like I need to cry, I cry. If I feel like I need to laugh, I laugh. If I feel like I need to enjoy myself, even if it's after a win or a loss, I just go through whatever emotions I need to go through after the fight, and it feels like I'm being myself. So if you feel like you need to let out the emotions, let them out, because if you don't let them out, you're trying to be somebody else that you are not.
Yeah. I love that because like بتكون متصالح مع نفسك.
Exactly.
You're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
You said that when you travel for 3 months and you prepare for the fight, it doesn't get lonely, but it gets isolating. So how do you go through it for 3 months? Isolating, I know what you mean by that. يعني you have to be خلاص focused, no distractions, no noise.
To me, the difference between isolation and loneliness is that in isolation, you have a goal and you know what it takes to achieve that goal. And you know that with isolation comes elevation. With isolation comes elevation in your thoughts, in your ideas, in your performance. So sometimes what it takes to achieve a specific goal at a specific stage is isolation. But then loneliness is a perspective of isolation. Loneliness is when you find yourself isolated to achieve a specific goal, even if the goal is to just think about the goal, even if the goal is to just even think about how you will achieve the goal, sometimes you need to isolate yourself to do that. But if you take the perspective of loneliness while you are isolated, you're not going to be able to think, you're not going to be able to perform, you're not going to be able to have your ideas or your elevated thoughts. Because then with loneliness comes the victim mentality, where I'm alone, I have nobody to support me, I have nobody to lean on, this is a lonely journey, I'm depending on myself, this and that. You start feeding your ego and you're feeding your mind thoughts and ideas just to make loneliness feel so much better, or at least to make loneliness feel right. So with isolation, it's what I need to achieve the goal. So when I'm in training camp, I love to be isolated. I love to be isolated by myself because that's where I think my best, that's where I perform my best, that's where I do my best.
And it's easier to get your goal.
Exactly.
يعني تخيل if you're doing a diet and you're surrounded by people who are eating the whole time.
Exactly.
أصعب to reach your goal. But when you isolate yourself, خلاص, you're going to reach it. ما في noise.
Exactly that.
It's much easier.
Yeah, it's just you're focused and then you feel like the whole world is just you.
Yeah.
Your food, your diet, your training, your schedule.
Emotional hygiene, everything.
Everything.
But if you weren't a boxer today, what would you be?
If I wasn't a boxer.
أول مرة أحد يسألك هذا السؤال.
أول مرة. I would probably be I'd probably be like a keynote speaker.
Really?
Yeah.
You're really good at it, actually.
Keynote speaker, a public speaker, something like that. I'd want to pioneer that in the Arab world as well. Do something like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, but in the Arab world. Sell out the theaters, the arenas, and one day the stadiums.
إيش تتمنى تقول للجيل الجديد اللي شاف مسيرتك, اللي شاف how you put this out there, you opened the door for them?
احلم. لازم تحلم. لازم تحلم. Regardless of or despite anybody who's dreamt it before you and didn't achieve it, or anybody who believed it before you but didn't have the means to achieve it, you still need to believe it. If you have the courage enough to dream it, if you have the vision to dream it, then just believe it. Because a dream without belief is just a thought. But a dream with belief is a goal, and a goal that you will achieve.
يعني ما حد حيجي يقول لك تعال let me make your dream come true.
لا.
You do that for yourself.
And how can somebody believe in your dream if they weren't the ones to dream it? How can somebody believe in your dream more than you if they weren't the ones who dreamt it at night? You dreamt it, you saw it, you felt it. So you need to believe it more than anybody else. You need to be the first one to believe it. You need to be the one who believes it the most. And by the end of the road, you need to be the last to believe it. And it's okay in the middle of the road to doubt and to have someone believe it more than you, to have someone believe in you more than you. In the middle of the road, that's fine. Surround yourself by these people. Surround yourself.
These are the right people.
These are the right people to surround yourself with.
Who believe in you more than you believe in yourself. That means you're getting somewhere for sure.
These are the people you need to surround yourself with. The people who, when you start doubting yourself, when you go through those moments of doubt, which we all go through, no matter what we're going through, we're going to go through that phase. Surround yourself by the people who will sit by you and tell you, look, we believe in you more than you believe in yourself right now. Either they're going to tell you, keep doing what you're doing, or they're going to have the courage to tell you, you need to change what you're doing to achieve what you want to achieve. But don't surround yourself by the yes men who just want to feed off of the results. Surround yourself by the people who are going to give it to you real, but who also believe in you.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And the real Zizo on the real Z Talks. I love that.
That was great.